Blog Talk Radio.
From the tidewaters of Virginia and the Blue Ridge Mountains, Tara Perfetti Street and Holly Mullins bring you Emerald Tablet Radio.
Countdown has begun.
To the second annual Paranormal Restore. It was so successful the first time they knew they had to do it again. Hosted by Bruce Barraclough Jr. and St. Albans Sanatorium.
With special guest speakers, Eric Knapp, Pat Bizard O'Keefe, the Connor Sisters, Lyle and Tana Lotz from Twisted, and Chris Belazone, just to mention a few of the special guests.
This event is going to be held on May 21st, 2016, for the price of $50 per ticket, with the proceeds going back to restore St. Albans Sanatorium. Not only do you get lectures, but you also get investigations. Leave your mark on St. Albans just as it leaves its mark on numerous people that come through its doors.
Order your tickets online at www.stalbans-virginia.com.
Welcome to Within the Chaos with your host,
Rodney Shortridge,
and co-host, Robin Dalton.
Thank you, Holly and Tara, and the Vibe Radio Network. You can listen in by calling 516-387-1922, or you can go on the Vibe Radio Network website at www.blogtalkradio.com/Vibe Radio Network. From deep within the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for listening to Within the Chaos. My name is Rodney Shortridge, and I'll be your co-host tonight, along with my Irish queen, my sexy co-host, Robin Dalton.
Hey, y'all.
Tonight, our special guest is the legend G. Tom Mack. G. Tom is a writer, a recorder, an artist, a live performer. G. Tom Mack created the masterpiece Cry Little Sister. He wrote it and performed the song for the classic film The Lost Boys. G. Tom still performs his amazing songs and so many of his other creations today, and it is an honor to have a legendary G. Tom as our special guest tonight. And we've had a couple sad losses in the past, 24, 36 hours. Wednesday, we lost Chyna. She's a WWE superstar. She was 46. She was the muscle-bound, raven-haired female professional wrestler. She was also known as the ninth wonder of the world, and our deepest sympathies go out to her and her family and her fans. Also, the tragic news of musical genius, an American icon, Prince Roger Nelson, who died today in Minnesota at his Minnesota home at the age of 57. I'd like to express my heartfelt, deepest sympathies to the family, friends, and fans. You both will never be forgotten. Right now, I want to play a special track that G just sent in to us. It's a tribute to Prince, and it's I got to listen to it real quick, and it's really beautiful. But We'll go ahead and play it right now for everyone.
3.
I want to thank G Tom for that. That was beautiful. I know I had a meeting that I had to go to, and earlier today I found out the Prince had passed, and in the 80s, growing up being an 80s kid, it meant a lot to me to hear some of these musicians. They got me through a lot of hard times, and Prince was one of them. Like I say, we're deep in the Appalachian Mountains, and music's always been a part of our history, our heritage, from bluegrass to gospel to R&B to rock, and it's always been an outlet for so many people. And I hope everybody enjoyed that tribute. And remember, the stars are only as far as you choose for them to be. And that was for you, Prince. And
Go Prince.
Now,
Go Prince.
That's right. I'd like to introduce everybody with G. Tom Mack. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
I'm doing, I guess, to be done better. I hate what happened. Tragic loss today.
Yeah, you have to let live and let die, and let be all the things that we are on this planet to do, but it can't help but be affected by tremendous art in the art of music and the things that we're affected by the likes of, these great icons that have not only Prince, but the last few months of just people that have affected our lives with incredible music and just painting our pictures of our past, with music. So I get it.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it hit me kind of hard today. There's been a lot of great people that passed in the past. Gosh, this past year, it's been a really sad year. But do you prefer to be called G or G Tom or G Tom Mack?
Well, I think G Tom Mack's a bit long, but G generally is what people call me, and a lot of people call me G Tom. But G is probably an easier one, isn't it? It's one syllable. It's not much to think about.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I just don't want to insult anybody, and you'd be like, well, come on, man. I even shortened my name down for everybody, and you still can't say it.
Well, that's what happened, is that my name was very difficult to pronounce, Gerard McMahon. I don't know why. But I kept changing the spelling of my last name, and, one would think I had a compulsive behavior problem by changing my last name so many times, but it was just trying to get people to pronounce it properly. But then Gerard they couldn't pronounce. So, in England it's pronounced Gerard. So it became very difficult. So I just figured, well, my name is Gerard Thomas McMahon, so just shorten it to that. Sort of like halfway through my career, I decided to do that, which by now people have caught on, So
right.
It's all good.
Well, I know the feeling about a name that people can't pronounce. I have an old English first name that a lot of people around here can't pronounce, and I don't really go by it.
Yeah.
It's Merlin. So I let it all out so everybody knows. So can you tell everybody about...
Hello, are you there? I'm
Yeah.
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you tell everyone how you started on this amazing musical journey that you've started?
Well, I picked up the guitar when I was 12 years of age and basically fell in love with what all things music was about. There was a teenage guy down the road who played really good guitar, and I just took lessons from him. Not lessons. I just wanted chords. My mother and dad wanted me to, it's that thing of learn it properly if you're going to get into it, meaning like learn the scales, and I couldn't be bothered with that. I just wanted to play chords and, rock the hell out, So the guy down the road, who was great, and I ended up being in a band with him when I was 14 or 15 as a singer and a rhythm guitar player. So that's the beginning. And then the journey just went into, being in cover bands, and then all of us, it just became the inevitable of writing songs for myself, and just been in. I got lucky, people started paying attention to my talent as a singer and a songwriter, and by the time I was about 18 years old, I started to get my, 18, 19. People started recording my songs, people like Kiss and an array of different artists. And then I made my first album that got critically acclaimed, and then, it didn't sell as well as the record company would have liked it to back then. So I just made a series of albums that were very, I guess the word is the critics' darling, and so one thing led to another, and I started doing film stuff, which I really enjoyed, writing songs for movies. And one of the first two movies I did was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, not long after I'd gotten my first record deal. And then I did a movie called Defiance, which sort of was a cult kind of film. Obviously, Fast Times was a much bigger movie. But all these little paths along the way, being the film stuff, started to really get my name out there as an artist and as a songwriter. So I kind of followed that, and I'd be going on the road and then, banging it out like we do, trying to get noticed in this barrage of talent. And but I always came back to the songwriting was always key to me, because not because I started to make a good living out. I just love it, that's what I'm about. But I'm also an artist, so by the time Lost Boys came along, which I'd already done 24 movies by that point, it was something of an incredible, film to have written something for what it was, having no idea what it would go on to do, and of course it went on to be the success it did over time. It wasn't like a huge hit, box office hit when it came out. It definitely was a very well noted film, and it was. I'm very proud of that movie, and proud of a lot of the 52 movies I've worked on. I shouldn't say I'm proud of all of them, but quite proud of a good deal of them.
I would be too. So is anybody else in your family musical?
Yeah, well, my parents were, my dad was a great Irish tenor. My dad's from Ireland, and my mom's from England. But my mom sang in, choirs and stuff like that. So music was always around the house. By the time we came to America for the first time, there was a lot of jazz music and a lot of different influxes of rhythm and blues that my parents took to, and I was listening to this stuff, they had the Sinatras on and all that kind of stuff, but they were very eclectic in the sense of what they were taken in by, American music, my parents, so it was pretty cool. So I was exposed to that living in New York City quite a bit, to really the stuff that, got into, I was certainly at that stage listening to the things that one would listen to at the age of 12, Beatles and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they weren't musical like performers, but they were definitely musical.
Well, so your family, they encouraged your music then, pretty much.
Yeah, they started to see that I was. They encouraged it because they saw that I had. I think any parent that really wants their child to excel at that age wants them to give it a go. And by the time I got to be 15, 16 and going on the road, I was making a bit of money, and they said, well, maybe this is something just as long as you keep your studies up. Well, if that didn't work out so well, because I didn't want to do anything else but play music, So, but I did keep them up. How well I did, it doesn't matter. I turned out to be a pretty intelligent person in the long run, so, or at least I like to think so.
Well, I think you're doing great. So, which musicians?
Well, you're the one, then, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm the one. So, which musicians do you admire the most? I mean, is there just one out there, or is there just like a whole handful? Or
what was the question again, mate? I didn't hear what you said. What?
Which musicians do you admire the most?
Oh, artists like musicians. I mean, I admire a lot of musicians. That's but yeah. Oh my God, I mean, it ranges. I'm into. I mean, from the past, I love Stevie Wonder. I love, the work of, The Cure, and I mean, it's such a range for me. It's just so hard. I mean, but I did learn a lot. I mean, Stevie Wonder being an artist I listened to at an early age, and I was always taken by him. And but I mean, yeah, it's really hard for me, to really nail down. But a lot of inspiration from artists like that. And there was an artist named Laura Nyro when I was a kid who was an amazing singer. I was taken by her music. She was a bit on the jazz side. And but yeah, the Elton Johns and people, early Elton John, and people like songwriters of that nature. But at the same time, I was into punk and all of that stuff too. When it came about, because I was pretty much doing punk when I was 15, 16 years old. The kind of stuff I was into was always trying to stretch it a bit. Even when we were doing covers.
Mm-hmm. So, what's it like, your ups and downs as far as starting a musical career? I mean, did you have a lot of them or just a few? Because I know a lot of musicians seem to have a lot of bumps in the road.
Well, of course I did. There were many. There's no in between with this business. It's like there's extreme highs and there's lows, and you're lucky to get some in between, so you can have some sort of sense of feeling normal. But thank God, through all the highs and lows, I found a sense of normality moving forward. So, but it's it's just it's hard enough just to be an artist and struggle writing the songs and go out and do them and feel rejection and to feel accepted, and it's a lot of torment. But if you love it enough and you're passionate about it, you don't give a shit. You just do it. It's what you're made of, and that's what I'm made of, and what many artists. I mean, I couldn't have done anything else, I don't think. I figured out how to make it work for me, If I didn't figure it out, there's just no way of saying that, I mean, it worked out that I still get to do what I do, and I'm grateful every day for it. But, yeah, lots of highs and lows, for sure.
Well, I have to admit, past few days, I have been so nervous about talking with you.
Oh, really? Why? I mean,
I am such a talker too. Most people I don't get nervous about. But I love your music. I think you're great, and we've never had the opportunity to really speak to anybody with your stature in such a in the industry of music or anything else. And I've been nervous. So what's your nerves like, or like before you go out to a performance, or do you still get nervous?
Sure. You don't. It's part of what makes you thrive and be good. If you're not nervous, then you might not. It's sort of a sense of not caring. So it's a way in which you do care. So I mean, it's a natural thing. It's like obviously, you do get nervous. You're up there in front of a few thousand people or a few hundred people, if that's the case. Or if it's like 10 people, you still get it, There's a sense of feeling that urgency and anxiety that, that just comes out, it comes on. And then once you're up there doing it, it's sort of an out-of-body experience in a way. At least it is for me.
I'm afraid I would throw up or pass out.
Well, it does. I've known people to do that, not necessarily because they're nervous, because they took too many drugs or drink. So.
Well, I know you're a big YouTube sensation with over 25 million plays, along with 6 albums released, and you have a new album called Untamed the Songs. That's getting stellar reviews, and it's also been talked about as one of the best albums this year. How do you feel about still being able to kick
that
ass?
Album came. I'm sorry, mate. How do I feel about what were you saying?
How do you feel about still being able to kick ass in the music business?
Well, it's a different business, as you probably well know. I mean, it's certainly different from the first time I got into it, where it's somewhat hard to make an album these days and have it see the light of day. And but I managed to do that by just having fans, and my fans seem to gravitate to not just a few songs that I've had hits with, but they come to gravitate to my catalog or whatever. So it's really, thank goodness that that's the case, because it would be I think it's very difficult having the one-hit wonder syndrome. Not that I'm saying that that's a bad thing, because it's wonderful to have one song affect many people, much like Cry Little Sister. But Cry Little Sister was never like a hit, so I don't know what you want to call it. It was a very big followed cult song, and it affected a lot of people, in as much as it made people go check out my other music. You know what I mean? And so I'm grateful for the fact that it wasn't just about one song with my fans. It became something that the true hardcore fans got behind, listening to an array of my music, So, but Untamed the Songs is, by the way, it came out in 2012, so it's not such a new album. But I am making a new album right now. I don't know what you're reading off of, but I am making an album right now that comes out in September, and I'm looking forward to that. Really, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I think it was an old bio somebody sent me, because it said there that you had a new album coming out, and I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Well, let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and play a clip of the Clone the Method from Untamed Songs. Is that right?
Yeah, and you know what? Just so you know, I think my phone's dying, this landline. So I'm going to call you on another line, and after you played that, just pick up, okay?
I sure can.
Because this line is going dead. All right, there you go. Okay. Clone the Method. Yeah, cool song. That's from the new album as well. So good one for you.
Okay. has cloned a method. That is awesome. Love it. Also, I know when we were talking about Cry Little Sister, or such a phenomenon, can you explain, how you was able to create such a masterpiece? I know you said at the time, it wasn't maybe a big hit, but it has grown today to be a big hit with so many people. How was you able to do it, and why?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a hit. I think it's just a personal song to about 18 million people out there throughout the world. So I just think it's become. I think a hit is something that you hear on the radio all the time, and everybody sort of agrees, like, "Oh my God," I think it's a personalized hit to people. Cry Little Sister. I wrote the song basically when I got a script from Joel Schumacher, the director. And he had asked me if I'd write the theme song to this movie, Lost Boys, and I got the script and was taken by it. And I thought I loved the idea that comedy and the actual horror were working together in such a cool way. And there was just a lot of things going on in my own life at that time, so I basically combined that and made a demo of the song. I definitely felt something was going on with the song, but I didn't think it would make it in the movie. I just thought it just might be too much of a stretch. And I was up against a lot of other competition of other people that were wanting to, a lot of much bigger artists wanting to write the theme song to it. But the demo I made caught the ears of Joel Schumacher and, the film company, Warner Brothers, and so it went in the movie, and then there was still a question of who was going to sing it. And they had an array of people from Phil Collins to, many different artists that they had their eyes on to, had a marquee value, somebody who was known. But at the end of the day, Joel just felt my voice was the right texture and the right sound for the movie, and it was the sort of musical aspect of the film to drive the film, and that's how it ended up being. So it was like a little bit of a journey, that song, but no one knew that it would go on to be, rather the movie and the song, to be such an iconic film and song. So yeah, it's pretty cool how it all worked out in the end, really.
Well, that's great. So you said you had some personal things going on in your life at that time. Do you use that a lot for your inspiration, or is there anything else you use as inspiration for your amazing music?
There's always something going on in my life, so I use everything that is surrounding me as inspiration. I'm a sponge in that way. My soul is a sponge, and that's basically the way I live and exist as an artist. I mean, you can make stuff up, and you can, I've got a good imagination, and there's times I've got to write something for somebody else or whatever. I'm able to do that, but I much prefer coming from a real place. So, yeah, generally speaking, that's how I write.
Yeah, that seems, I don't know, you can just kind of tell that about you. So I've read that after the movie The Lost Boys was released in 1987, you were fed up with the music business. Is that true? And could you tell us why?
Well, I was fed up with the business part of it. I wasn't fed up with music. It just was one of those periods of times that I didn't really have an understanding as to where I wanted to go, because times were just the way they were in the music business, where it just felt like I was out on the road, and the record labels were wanting me to write songs that would fit on the radio, and I just, they wanted me to be something else other than what I was, and I kind of got fed up with it, and I just looked around. I just said, I don't need to go out on the road and beat myself up anymore. So I just started writing songs for other people and doing movies and television shows and things like that. And that sort of became an area that I lived in New York at the time. I moved back to New York from Los Angeles, and I stopped going on the road. And I just kind of fed up with it all. And then one thing led to another. I ended up writing and producing a Roger Daltrey album. Well, before that, I was working with Robert Plant, and that's how I met Roger. And so, there I was writing with, my childhood idols, So it was pretty incredible experience to have fallen into, because these people were fans of my work, and that's how it all kind of happened. But yeah, I mean, I think the music business, or the music and its business, the business part is very difficult to figure out in these times. But I kind of was ahead of the game, and just sort of like, I was already independent by the time the record industry and all things music business started to plummet, as we know it. And but I think it's a much healthier place, and it'll find a much healthier place as time goes on, and that's what I'm excited about.
Now, the clip you sent us, the Get Your Attitude, would you say it had anything to do with kind of how you felt about the music business at that time?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I try not to pay attention to the business side of it. I mean, I do pay attention to, my livelihood from it. But, I live in a cloud for the most part, and that's just because it's an all-day job. It's not like you go to sleep, and, you do go to sleep, but it's still there. It's floating around in your soul and your heart. I think about it all day, writing a guitar part, or writing a lyric, or a melody, or another song, or the performance, what needs to go into that. So it's to think about business, it's a load of bollocks, because you get in the way. Really, right. It really does, so.
Well, that clip that she just mentioned, we'll go ahead and play it for everyone, let them get a hear of it. Let's Get Your Attitude. I know you've written songs for legendary singers such as Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, Roger Daltrey of The Who. So what's it like to create music for such legends as those?
I don't know. Just like I do it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think about it. I was certainly taken back when they approached me to do it. But if you would ask me how I started to, what's it like to do that, I just get into the mode of what I sort of absorb their personality, their voices, and the sense of what the direction that they want to take. And I just sort of become them for a period of time. I guess that's the best way to put it. But there's no what's it like? What do you do to get to that place? But yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. It's just taking them on and being sort of, being the Meryl Streep of songwriting, I guess.
Well, I mean, I would think it'd be amazing to hear someone singing something I wrote. I just wouldn't know how that would feel.
Of course you would. You don't do this.
No, I do paranormal.
Okay, that's what you do. I have no idea what you do, mate. I do these radio interviews, and because the PR person sets them up, and they decide which is right to do, and I just turn up. So I know nothing about your background. You could own a porn site for all I know, and that's okay too. But I have no idea. But I'm enjoying having a chat with you. I love your accent.
I'm enjoying it. Oh, thank you. I love your accent. You remind me of a friend of mine, Christopher Booth. He has the same accent.
He does he? Well, okay. Where's he from?
He's from England. I don't know exactly what part of England, but
yeah. Well, we don't all sound the same over there, and my accent, quite frankly, has become more Americanized over the years because if I was to have come over from Birmingham, which is where I was born, I would have had a much more definitive accent. So, but yeah, there's many different accents throughout the country of England and Scotland.
Oh yeah,
we're Hicks. We have the Hick
Okay, well,
accent.
at least you admit it.
Yeah, I'm a Southwest Virginian.
How many listeners do you have on your program, if I may ask? Do you even know?
The numbers are scattered all over the place. I've had numbers they told me from 25 to 4,500. So it's it's whatever they tell me.
I see. Okay.
Now, I know that you are the favorite, I'm sure you have fans out there that they consider you their favorite musician. Do you have any favorite musicians or groups that you like to listen to?
Didn't I answer that question already? I think Stevie Wonder, I mentioned him. He's an artist. He's a musician. I listen to a lot of new stuff. I have an array of stuff. Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, all those artists from that period. I love that period, but I tend to be more about what's contemporary. I love the artist Banks. I love, I like a lot of. I like Rihanna. Lady Gaga, a major fan of hers. She said that her such an incredible musician as a pianist and also an amazing vocalist. And it's such a wide spread, of different artists that I'm into. I like DJ Snake. I like a lot of the newer stuff actually, and I don't sit around and listen to the old stuff too much. I already did it, so I'm always trying to grasp fresh stuff, And it doesn't always have to be music that I'm inspired by. It could be a painting. It could be paintings, going to museums, or seeing a film, or watching or reading really good literature,
Right.
Well, do you teach music to anybody, or?
Well, there are some kids that I've done that with, but not as I don't have a program of sorts, no.
Huh. So, what do you think you would be doing if you weren't singing?
I don't know. I don't think about it.
No?
That's an honest answer there. Well, how do you balance? How do you balance your music and other obligations, such as your family and your friends and stuff like that?
Balance it. I turn up. I make a phone call like anybody else. Hey, you want to go have a beer? You want to go have dinner? With friends, and I have an 11-year-old son that I stay on top of being a good dad to him, and making sure all things are right as being a father. So that stuff is normal, if you want to call it normal. I guess it is just an ongoing life. I'm just responsible. I turn up. You figure it out like anybody does. Anybody has a job. My job is a bit different than most people because I'm in a recording studio at different hours a day, or I'm working on a movie, or doing this, that, and the other. So it's not that normal, but I do make a schedule to have a life, basically.
Well, I know you said you grew up in the Midwest. How'd you like living out in the Midwest compared to, I guess, living in England?
We came to America. We lived there for a little while when my parents came over. I thought it was great. I was very isolated in the sense that I had this funny little accent, and then I gravitated to music, and that was sort of the way in which I could, have something in my life that felt like that the Midwest wasn't. The Midwest seemed a bit odd to me when I was, coming over from England. So that was a very different kind of culture. But yeah, music was a big part of my life at an early age, so I was able to have that in my life, and I guess I made it work out. I mean, I never felt negative of where I was. There's a lot of good people in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you said you've done over 50 movies and also a bunch of TV shows that you've done music for. Is it easier to work with the TV or film industry, or are they both about the same, or do they both expect the same kind of type of sound, or do you have to mix it up going toward based on the film or the TV show?
It's just so different, film and TV, because film is a longer form, and when you have a longer form, you tend to have to figure out the landscape of where music goes and where the director wants music to go. And TV is a smaller form, so they basically license my songs in TV shows. Sometimes I'll write songs for the show, but it's much them licensing the songs from my catalog these days anyway. But scoring is a different thing altogether. That's a whole other animal, which I do. I don't do a lot of it, but when I do it, it's different kind of feel. It's bigger, smaller at the same time.
So do you watch the movies or the shows before they come out to get your ideas to write the song, or?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I don't just. Yeah, that's what we do. We watch. It's called you spot the film, and you sit with the producers and director, and you basically go over where they want music. And sometimes if they're just licensing a song or they have a song, they're going to place the song where they want. And they include you in looking at the film as to where it may go, or they may not include me. But, you do get to look at the film and read the script and go through it so you can get an idea if, in fact, you're writing a song for that film. Sometimes they just license the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know in the 80s and 90s it was a bigger thing to have a lot of soundtracks with a movie. Do you think they're kind of getting away from that today, or is it still just as intense as it was then?
What are you saying? You mean, I didn't understand the question.
What I'm saying is, back in the 80s and 90s, there were soundtracks to, like, every movie that came out had a soundtrack. And it seems like now, today, there's not as many soundtracks as they were back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it doesn't exist that much anymore. So, I mean, every once in a while, you'll get a soundtrack that just sort of pops out there. I can't remember the last thing that really did that well, but like Brother, Where Art Thou? I mean, that was a huge soundtrack. How old is that movie? 10 years ago or longer? But
yes.
It's every once in a while something catches on as a soundtrack. Or what was that? Frozen. Kids thing. A lot of that sort of younger stuff tends to. You can get a good shot with that. But you're right. The 80s were definitely big on soundtracks, and I happen to be in that mix. And it was a different time, so it's, where music it was a different world of how music was perceived in in movies. And these days, you can just go download the one song you want from that movie, If you're seeing it in a movie or a TV show, for that matter.
But how would you suggest someone getting into the music business today compared to when you started? I mean,
I wouldn't know how to answer that question. Get out there and be passionate and play and just bang it out, and you never know what'll happen. I can't even begin to think of what it would be, what it's like for a lot of these younger artists who I think are fantastic people starting out today. There's some unbelievable. All you have to do is go on YouTube and just watch just incredible musicians, singers, songwriters. I don't know. And a lot of them figure out how to get a fan base. You'd be surprised. I don't know how old you guys are, but it's that world of YouTube and social media is where, if you're starting out today, embrace that, figure it out, and get your fan base that way, and go out and play as much as you can. in front of live people.
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, I'm old. You had to bring up the age thing.
Well, it all happens to all. It does happen to all of us, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, and I feel every ache and pain from it. But I know some of the music that you wrote for, say, like Kiss. Do you ever like run into a group or a singer that you kind of bat heads around because of the song? They may agree with it or disagree with it, or you may agree or disagree. Have you ever had any kind of falling out that way?
Not that I can recall. I mean, you mean about them doing my song? And I'm not sure I understand the question properly. It's, you mean about them bumping heads about them doing one of my songs and how they did it or whatever?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Not really. I'm very, especially the likes of Kiss, Ice Cube, Eminem, all these people that have recorded my music. I've totally respect for what they've done. I've never really felt, no, that's never happened.
Well, that's good. Because I know I've read stories about a lot of musicians always bumping heads, but you haven't got into any artist fights as far as like Nicki Minaj and Eminem or somebody like that.
No, that hasn't happened.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, I think that's about it. We're going to go ahead and play "Cry Little Sister," and
there you go. That's ending on a good note, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. Cheers.
Hey, you too, sir. Thanks a lot.
That's such a great song. I love it.
Oh, it is. It's a great song. He's a great guest. I'm glad he was able to come on. And if anybody wants to purchase a copy of his albums or check him out on YouTube, I suggest do it. He's got some great videos. He's got some great music. It was an honor to have him coming on the show, especially at night after today with Prince passing away. We welcome him back anytime.
That just blew me away.
And I think we have one more song of his. Let me look. That I can't remember. It's just been a long day. If anything could go wrong, it has went wrong today. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, things were going pretty smooth on this end until, most people know that I have a 7-year-old niece who is like my pride and joy, and my mother called me a little while ago and hysterical. You have to get down here like right now. Oh, and I was like, what's wrong? She's like, Elizabeth's had an accident and has busted her face open. Well, the way she was saying it, I thought she literally had busted her face open. I get down there. She rests on her scooter and she has a black eye.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
really? She's all over a black eye. Oh, is she okay? I'm like, Mom, it's a black eye. She's a kid.
Yeah, it happens. I know. Poor Half-Pint, she's been sick again, and I don't know if it's the allergies or all this dryness and the pollen all over the place. It's pretty rough, and it's kicking my ass too. I feel like terrible.
I know. It looks like somebody's just sprinkled yellow dust all over my cars up here.
Oh, it is here too. It looks like somebody's got yellow cocaine on the hood of the car.
Grab your straws.
Everybody grab your straws and hold a nostril. We're getting ready to do a line, a hell of a line. But yeah, I hated that. I know, like I said, when I went to that meeting tonight, they're playing tribute to Prince all over the place, and it really caught everybody off guard. He's only 57 years old.
I know.
And plus,
I can remember my sister. She's a couple years older than me. I must have been maybe about 11, 12 years old when his movie when the movie Purple Rain came out.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister absolutely was head over heels in love with Prince. And I bet you she made me watch that movie 500 times. And I loved it.
Oh,
I never got tired of it. I mean, he was so, I don't know, enthusiastic, and he didn't care what people thought,
Yeah, he was really good. I know I watched the movie in theaters when I was a kid. Tells you how old I am. And had the Purple Rain cassette that wore out. Had to buy 2 more. And because it was a big thing. It was huge back in my day.
I know everybody always loved Purple Rain, but really my all-time favorite of Prince was When the Doves Cry.
Yeah,
that's
a
my
good one.
favorite song of all time by him.
So what have you had going on this past week, other than a black eye?
Not a whole lot. It's actually been, like usual, busy, but I know it keeps everybody on their toes, I reckon. I ain't had to kill nobody or hide no bodies. So I guess that's fun.
That's always a plus.
He called you and told you to bring a shovel, so I must have done pretty good this week.
Bring the yellow tape and a shovel.
Yeah.
And
stab anybody with a fork. Does that count too?
Stab her with a fork and say, "You're done, damn it."
Yeah. I'd like to stab one through my teenager's tongue, get him to shut up, but legally I can't do that.
You're going to get yourself in trouble, Jesus Christ. I don't know you now. Cops call me, I don't know who you are. I've never seen that redhead before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're going to pull up all the evidence that we have together and they'll be like, well, what are you doing taking all these pictures with her?
I'll be like, she's a ghost. I didn't even know she was there. That's a spirit, man. I never seen pictures.
I thought it was paranormal.
Damn it, I thought it was, I'm haunted. It's like that little woman's been haunting me. Damn it. I didn't know she was real. I know, bitch.
I would never hurt another human being.
Lies, all lies.
I have been tempted, as everybody I'm sure has been. But I haven't. I watch way too many comedy shows. I know that you never get away with it. And I just don't think anybody's worth me spending the rest of my life in prison. I'm too pretty to go to prison.
You'd be somebody's bitch.
No, I'm going to be nobody's bitch now.
And see, I could say the same thing. I'm too pretty to go to prison because I tell you what, ain't nobody grabbing these locks of love and making me do something I don't want to do. Hell no.
That would be Cry Little Sister would be your new theme song.
Yeah, I get slapped in the back of the head the whole time. Cry, little sister, cry, cry.
Lord,
Yeah,
I was so nervous tonight. I was really nervous. I'm sorry if I stuttered there for a little bit and kind of left you hanging. I don't know what was wrong with me, y'all.
I don't feel bad. I fucked up too. I feel like we get some big celebrity and we dropped the ball. We fucked it up. Oh Lord.
Well, nobody. We never said that we knew what we was doing.
That's right. I didn't sign no contract saying I was a professional. What the fuck?
All we ever said was we can talk.
And we're good at that. Even when we stumble over our fucking words, we're good at that.
Yep. Even when we can't explain, we can.
You have to hear us when we really do get stuttering. Oh Lord.
Hey, I think we're pretty musical. We've made us up some pretty good songs. Well, parodies, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think that'd be a good idea to sing those after having a guest like G. Tom Mac, and yeah, they would be insulting.
No, I crack people's speakers.
Well, I mean, he might still be listening, going, "I can't believe that you people put me on with them damn honky tonk country people."
I know, right? He's probably thinking, "Lord, them hicks."
That's probably what he's thinking. Son of a bitch. I don't know who put me in touch with these people, but you're...
I know. I was just such a nervous wreck. It was like I was starstruck through the phone.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wasn't starstruck. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love his music and everything like that. I think he's cool as hell. It just kind of reminded me I was talking to Christopher Booth.
Well, if you remember, I was kind of stupefied on that one too. I talked more to Rachel.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out because we got about 3 minutes 45 seconds, and so I want to thank G. Tom Mac so much for coming on the show. I hope we didn't scare you. Hope you come back someday and be our friends. Thanks again. That's it for us tonight. Like I said, I want to thank G. Tom Mac for coming on the show and being so brave with us. I mean, he did great. And thank everyone who took the time to listen and take part in our show. As we close out tonight's show, I'm going to play Cry Little Sister again and give a big shout out to Vibe Radio Network and also to all the first responders and our men and women in the armed services. Thank you for your service. Our guest for next Thursday night, April 28th. Is that what next Friday is?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll have a mystery guest. So everyone turn in next week for another exciting show at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, be safe and have a good night.
Night, y'all.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.